In our headlines tonight, United Nations Disaster Assessment Coordination Team recommends post-disaster blueprints to tackle effects of flood on residents. World Bank to invest over $4 million in community and social development in the state before 2020. 6 Nigerian soldiers sustained injuries while repelling Boko Haram insurgents. On the foreign scene, Vatican announces extreme punishment for 2 Chilean bishops engaged in child molestation. Good evening, glad to have you on the news tonight. My name is Maureen Stone Enujoke. The United Nations Disaster Assessment Coordination Team arrived to the state and has concluded post-disaster impact needs assessment of the flood situation in the state. The team, led by Mr. James Brown, paid a courtesy call on the Deputy Governor, Dr. Nkemo Keke, who is the chairman of the SEMA committee, to brief him on the findings and make recommendations. We have the details.
Governor Keke added that he spoke with the Vice President's office, who promised to provide seed money to traders among persons affected by the flood, stating that the state is still in need of assistance.
This one hasn't really lived up to expectation. I don't think it was like 2012, which was really a horrible disaster. Hopefully, we thank God for that, it wasn't as bad. But I think we somehow need to put up, I don't know what I call it, sort of a piece, paper, study program that whenever this period comes, we're ready. So we're not caught, with our pants down. We're ready to hit the coast and do what needs to be done. I've taught the places. I even got a helicopter and I flew around the restricted areas, and it was really something else. See how completely submerged. People displaced, sent to IDP camps. You see agricultural crops lost, being uprooted earlier than they're supposed to. We have rice farmers, one of the largest rice farmers in the state. His whole rice was completely flooded, so it's gone.
Earlier, Mr. Brown said that their mission is to assess the state government's response to the flood situation and help where need be. Mr. Brown, who noted that he has been in disaster management for about 25 years in countries around the world, revealed that they have been supporting the SEMA and NEMA in information management, adding that he has produced a report asking the state government to prepare a post-disaster apparatus in this future to ascertain people's need as they start arriving their respective homes after any flood occurrence.
We had a meeting with His Excellency the Governor when we first arrived, and he said this was a priority for you in the state. And if you conduct this rapid needs assessment, you'll be able to produce figures and data, which then you can give to the international community, who can then hopefully react on that. So, in very brief, that's what we're here for, and maybe I'll hand over to Seema now.
The Executive Secretary of the State's Emergency Management Agency, SEMA, Chief Paul Odenibo, pointed out that the team had been on ground since 1st October and had conducted scheduled meetings with the concerned stakeholders, including security personnel, among others, after which the report was compiled.
In Nigeria, brief you as a state on what they have done before they leave, so that when they depart, we will sit back and conduct the assessment we should talk about. That is the mission. Thank you very much.
Similarly, the Anglican Bishop of Obaru Diocese, Right Reverend Prosper Ama, has called on the federal government to find a lasting solution to flood disaster that is ravaging parts of the country, especially in some local government areas in Anambra State. Presenting his charge to delegates at the 3rd session of the 4th Synod of Obaru Diocese holding at St. Luke's Anglican Church, Ukpoko, Right Reverend Ama called for immediate dredging of the River Niger as a major step towards curtailing flood menace in the country. We have the details.
Caution people against building structures on waterways, stressing the need for those engaging in road construction to ensure adequate stone bays and drainages to ensure free flow of flood. Right Reverend Amma, who spoke extensively on the need for government to always partner the church to ensure a decent and God-fearing society, called on those occupying leadership positions to use such in touching lives.
According to Dictionary, is the act of love of one that blesses, or a thing conducive to happiness and welfare. In the Bible, there are several words that are usually translated as blessing or bless. For exaltation comes neither from the east, nor from the west, nor from the south. But God is the judge. He puts down war and exalts war. End of quote. Taken from Psalm 75, verses 6 and 7.
Bishop Amma, who regretted that the nation's democratic processes does not appear to be consolidating due to lack of transparency, accountability, rule of law, and genuine demonstration of leadership capacity to protect fundamental human rights. He urged President Muhammadu Buhari to ensure security of lives and property, reminding him of the need to abide by federal character principles in making appointments. Bishop Amma, who said that promotion and exaltation comes from God, congratulated Governor Willie Obiano and his deputy, Dr. Nkem Okeke, on their landslide victory during last year's governorship election and their successful inauguration for another term of 4 years. He drew the attention of the state government to the deplorable condition of Oboduku Road by Atani Junction, Ede Road that leads to Ojoto Street, Owerri Road, among others, to ensure evacuation of farm produce and enhance business transactions. In a remark, the Archbishop of Niger Province and Bishop of Nnewi Diocese, Most Reverend Godwin Okpala, canvassed for more synergy between the laity and clergy for enhanced evangelism. In their separate interviews, the Special Assistant to the Governor on Secondary School Matters, Lady Chinyere Mbakwe, and some senior delegates, Sir Chinedu Ike and Lady Joy Odunze, called on parents to always allow their children take part in church activities in order to improve the moral tone of the society. The Synod, which has its theme as Beyond Conventional Christianity, Christian Purpose, Bringing Blessings, was attended by over 10 bishops and other personalities.
All states of the Federation participating in the World Bank Community and Social Development Agency CSDA are expected to draw down at least $4 million each before the project winds up in June 2020. The national coordinator of the agency, Dr. Abdul Karim Obaje, announced this during a 2-day retreat for members of Board of Directors of Anambra State Community and Social Development Agency. Correspondent Ebeleze is standing by with the details.
Held at the Golden Tulip Agulu Lake Hotel, Agulu, a Nocha local government area, drew participants from the Ministries of Works, Finance, Utilities, Local Governments, Communities and Chieftaincy Affairs, Women Affairs and Civil Society Organizations. Dr. Obaje, who clearly stated the functions of the board to include oversight functions, funding, recruitment and monitoring of activities of the agency, assured that the late inclusion of Anambra State into CSDA will not deprive it its full benefits.
Anambra State government has indicated interest, done recruitment, put the government contribution of 50 million into the account of the state agency. In principle, Anambra State CSDA is effective. We are proud, we are happy, we congratulate His Excellency, Executive Governor of Anambra State, Chief Willie Obiano, for the wonderful strides and for bringing the Anambra State CSDA on board CSDP.
Earlier, while declaring the retreat open, the state chairman of the agency, Igwe Rolando Debo of Nteje, urged the participants to listen attentively, understand the agency's rules and regulations for constructive criticism. Igwe Odebo noted that the retreat was the product of their inaugural meeting in June, where they unanimously agreed for it to be organized since the board has critical role to play for the success of the project.
My expectation is that all of them will be, we house them, so all of them will be here relaxed and talked freely, understand from the World Bank people that came here, and then move the agency work very forward.
The General Manager, State CSDA, Mr. Chudimojepu, said that following the release of funds from the World Bank last August, they have sensitized all the 5 participating council areas of the state, allowed them digest the message and express interest in writing. Mr. Mojeku unveiled that out of the 55 communities in the 5 participating council areas, only 36 communities have declared interest to benefit, with 21 engaged in day-to-day rural appraisal and implementation activities.
So the need is there for them to really get to know what we are doing, understand the concepts, appreciate it, understand it, and analyze it. That way they'll be able to make original contribution to our activities.
For some members of the board, including the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Works, Barrister Emeka Ohuoha, his local government, communities and chieftaincy affairs counterpart, Mr. Nwabonwo Baji, and Igwe Charles Abala of Uke, the retreat availed them the opportunity to brainstorm on their rules to properly midwife the CSDA as a way forward for the state. Out of the $250 million mapped out by the World Bank for Community and Social Development Agency in Nigeria, Anambra State is entitled to withdraw more than $4 million yearly if on the fast lane from Golden Tulip Agri-Lake Hotel in Anocha local government area. I am Ebele Eze, reporting for ABS News.
Over 2,000 persons from Okija and her neighborhood have benefited from the free eye and dental treatment organized by Dozie Foundation, an international center for vision and health care, currently going on at the Basilica of St. Peter's Church, Okija, Anambra State. Commissioner for Health, Dr. Joe Akabike, who flagged off the free eye and dental treatment, urged Dozie Foundation to key into Anambra State health insurance scheme to ensure continuity of treatment for the beneficiaries at an affordable rate. We have a detailed report on that.
Dr. Akabike expressed satisfaction with the structure, quality of treatment given to the people, as well as the large number of people seeking for treatment. He regretted that people do not follow up their treatment largely due to financial limitations, and stressed that the state health insurance scheme will enable them to achieve a longer treatment. The commissioner commended Dozie Foundation for caring for the poor. Earlier in a welcome address, Sir Daniel Chukwudozie, Chief Executive Officer of Dozie Group of Companies, said over the years, the foundation has embarked on many programs aimed at empowering the less privileged in the society. He disclosed that they have offered scholarship to indigent students, as well as put smiles on the faces of widows and downtrodden. Sir Dozie said that the foundation, in recognition of the importance of the eye and teeth to the body, embarked on the program aimed at ensuring that Anambra have good eye and teeth health care, and thanked the State Commissioner for Health, whose presence, according to him, underscored the importance of the event. In a remark, Dr. Ifeoma Oji, an optometrist, commended Dozie Group for sponsoring the treatment aimed at eradicating preventable blindness in Nigeria, asserting that 80% of eye issues can be treated, while Dr. Charles Uchendu, who led the team of doctors in the eye surgeries, disclosed that most of the operations were on cataract and that they have operated more than 40 persons.
We remove the lens and we put it through ocular lens. When we remove why they are not seeing, the reason why they are not seeing, now put another thing that will make them see. This surgery usually is expensive outside, but due to Dozie Dozie oil, they have paid all of them, and we are doing like 30 or more.
Giving glasses, drugs, examination, everything is not free.
Some of the beneficiaries, including Chinwe Chukwujindo, John Chukwudozri, Mrs. Udoka Ngamnobi, and Dennis Chukwuede, thanked the donor for showing love to the poor and prayed for God's blessings on him. Meanwhile, the 6 days free eye and dental treatment was extended to 2 weeks by Sadozi due to a large number of people who came to access treatment. Ogochukwu Oranu for ABS News.
The Nigerian Army has said that 6 soldiers sustained injuries while repelling Boko Haram insurgents in an ambush at Arege area of Borno State. Brigadier General Texas Chukwu, Army Director, Public Relations, announced this in a statement he issued in Maiduguri today. He said the scores of the insurgents were neutralized while others escaped with various degrees of injuries during the encounter. Chukwu said that 1 vehicle was recovered from the terrorists while 3 gun trucks were destroyed by the troops of Sector 3 deployed in Operation Lafia Dole. He said unfortunately 6 of the soldiers sustained various degrees of injuries and are currently receiving medical treatment at the military facility. He reminded the public once again to report any suspicious movements of activities in the area to the law enforcement agents for prompt action. Governor Willie Obiano has congratulated the newly elected president of the Nigeria Union of Journalists, NUJ, Comrade Chris Isiguzo, on his victory. Comrade Isiguzo was elected the new president of NUJ at the triennial conference of the union held in Abeokuta, Ogun State recently. In a congratulatory message, the governor described Comrade Isiguzo's election as historic and said it was one of the few occasions when Nigerians jettisoned ethnic and religious loyalty to vote for merit. Governor Obiano said the well-deserved victory attests to his high sense of commitment, resoluteness, and pursuit of excellence, noting that the lesson should not be lost on the members of the Nigeria political class and the Nigeria voters as they inch towards the 2019 general elections. He charged the new president of the NUJ to hit the ground running and expressed hope that he would implement fully the programs and promises he made while canvassing for votes to justify the confidence reposed in him by his colleagues. The governor acknowledged Comrade Isiguzo's passion for journalism and urged him to combine that with his wealth of experience for a better society, as well as bequeath to the union a legacy of professionalism which will remain indelible in the sands of time. Governor Obiano, in felicitating with the entire members of the 4th Estate of the Realm, also congratulated them on conducting a H-free election, stressing that the union had, by that, demonstrated sound democratic tenets worthy of emulation. The governor assured the new NUJ president of the continued support of his government to the media and hoped that under his watch, the existing cordial relationship between the Anambra state government and members of the 4th Estate of the Realm would continue to grow for the mutual benefit of both parties. Pope Francis has defrocked 2 Chilean bishops as a consequence of to manifest abuse of minors. The Vatican announces that the 2 men have been named as Francisco Jose Cox Huneos, Archbishop Emeritus of La Serena in central Chile, and Marco Antonio Ordonez Fernandez, Bishop Emeritus of Iquique in the north of the country. Defrocking, depriving a person of ecclesiastical status, and thus his right to exercise the functions of the ordained ministry is the harshest punishment the Church can inflict on its clergy. In a statement, the Vatican said that in both cases, Article 21 of the Motu Proprio Sacramentum Sanctitatis Tutela and 201 apostolic letter written by Pope John Paul II outlining the Church's norms for addressing grave crimes was applied as a consequence of manifest abuse of minors. The 2 bishops have been informed by the superiors according to the statement, which also states that Francisco Jose Cox Huneos will, however, continue to be a member of the Institute of Schoenstatt fathers. It follows the defrocking last month of an 88-year-old Chilean priest, Father Fernando Cadadima, who sexually abused teenage boys over a period of many years and is at the center of a wider abuse scandal that is still under investigation. The Vatican also accepted the resignation of the Archbishop of Washington, Cardinal Donald Were, who had been criticized by a U.S. grand jury in August for failing to halt systematic abuse by priests in Pennsylvania during his previous rule as Archbishop of Pittsburgh from 1988 to 2006. In our sports, having left France as a young World Cup winner in 1999, Thierry Henry returns almost 2 decades later, hoping his appointment by Monaco can mark the start of a successful coaching career. Thierry Henry, now 41, was named as the new coach of the League One side today, replacing Leonardo Jardim, who was sacked in midweek following a string of poor results that left Monaco languishing in 18th in the league. Henry was one of the greatest players of his generation, the all-time leading goal scorer for both Arsenal and the French national team, but he has been building towards this moment for several years now. After retiring from playing in 2014, at the end of 4 years with New York Red Bulls, Henry has divided his time between coaching and punditry work with British broadcaster Sky. He has acquired his coaching badges and spent the last 2 years working as an assistant in Roberto Martinez or the Belgian national team. Henry's input as an attacking coach during Belgium's run to the World Cup semi-finals, where they lost to France, made an impression on the players he worked with. Remember that you can follow news and programs on ABS from any part of the world by logging onto our website, www.absradiotv.com, and at www.facebook.com/ABS Radio Television, and also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at ABS Radio TV. Just before we go, a recap of the main points. United Nations Disaster Assessment Coordination Team has recommended post-disaster blueprints to tackle effects of flood on residents. World Bank is to invest over $4 million in community and social development in the state before 2020. 6 Nigerian soldiers have sustained injuries while repelling Boko Haram insurgents. And on the foreign scene, Vatican has announced extreme punishment for 2 Chilean bishops engaged in child molestation. And that's it on our news for today. Thank you so immensely for joining us. Good evening. I am Maureen Stone Enujike. Kachifo.